machine, and the members will record their presence. Have all the members recorded their presence? Clerk will lock the machine, record the roll. The roll call shows 63 present, 7 absent, excused, a quorum being present. The House is ready for business. The House will now advance to the second order of business, prayer by the chaplain, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Today the prayer will be led by Pastor Tom Doherty, and the pledge will be led by House Page Eric Labra. Will the guests in the gallery please rise?
Quote today is by Vincent van Gogh. The fishermen know that the sea is dangerous and the storms terrible, but they never have found these dangers sufficient reason for remaining ashore. Let's pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, guide us through the storms of life and give us what it takes to be wise and alert in all we do. We know, Lord, that there are many obstacles before us, and there are times that look very daunting, but give us the wise strength to press on, even when the ways of life seem insurmountable. Open our minds to see those things that would be benefit to this great state. Give us understanding for those people who may not think as we do. Lord, you have given us great responsibility to touch the lives of others in all our various positions, and I pray we'd be a positive light for those we come in contact with. And Lord, please be with Representative Agidius' sister Melanie as she prepares for her serious surgery on Monday. Be near to her, and I pray you'd bring healing to her. I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The House will now advance to the third order of business, approval of the journal. The House is at the third order.
February 22nd, 2013. Mr. Speaker, will your Committee on Judiciary Rules and Administration report that we have read and approved the House Journal of the 46th Legislative Day and recommend same be adopted as corrected. Moved by Wills, seconded by Burgoyne.
You've all heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries and the report is adopted. The House will now advance to the fourth order of business, consideration of messages from the Governor and the Senate. The House is at the fourth order.
From the Senate, February 21st, 2013. Mr. Speaker, I return herewith enrolled House Concurrent Resolution 2, which has been signed by the President. Novak, Secretary of the Senate.
House Concurrent Resolution number 2 will be referred to Judiciary and Rules and Administration for delivery to the Secretary of the Senate.
From the Senate, February 21st, 2013. Mr. Speaker, I transmit herewith Senate Bill 1042, which has passed the Senate. Novak, Secretary of the Senate.
Senate Bill 1042 will be filed for first reading. The House will now advance to the fifth order of business, report of standing committees. The House is at the fifth order. The gentleman from District 6.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for personal privilege.
The gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to introduce a good friend of mine, Mr. Mike Feeney from Lewiston, and if you could give him a welcome to the House.
Good lady from District 18.
Mr. Speaker, point of personal privilege.
The lady has the floor.
I'd like to introduce my amazing mom and husband. My mom, Eloise Ward, my husband, Kangle King. Will you join me in welcoming them to the gallery?
Welcome to the gallery. Good lady from District 29.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, point of personal privilege. I have with me today my great-granddaughter and her friend, Carly. It's Mercedes, and they go to Spalding School in Meridian. And if you'd all give them a welcome.
Good gentleman from District 10.
Mr. Speaker and good ladies of the body, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, today in the gallery I have with me my beautiful family, my daughters Margaret Elaine and Ray Lynn, and then we have our daughter, our son, baby Bryson, who's all dressed up today for this special occasion, and my beautiful wife Danielle. If you'd all please welcome them.
House is at the fifth order.
February 22nd, 2013. Mr. Speaker, will your Committee on Judiciary, Rules, and Administration report that we have printed House Bills 202, 203, 204, 205, 206, 207, 208, and 209. Wills, Chairman.
House Bill 202 will be referred to the State Affairs Committee. House Bill 203 will be filed for second reading. House Bill 204 will be referred to the Revenue and Taxation Committee. House Bill 205 and 206 will be referred to the Education Committee. House Bill 207 will be referred to the Judiciary, Rules, and Administration Committee. House Bill 208 will be referred to the Agriculture Affairs Committee. And House Bill 209 will be referred to the Transportation Committee.
February 21st, 2013. Mr. Speaker, will your Committee on Health and Welfare report that we have had under consideration House Bills 142 and 178 and House Concurrent Resolution 6 and recommend that they do pass. Wood, Chairman.
House Bills 142, 178, and House Concurrent Resolution number 6 will be filed for second reading.
February 21st, 2013. Mr. Speaker, will your Committee on Business report that we have had under consideration House Bill 162 and recommend that it do pass. Henderson, Chairman.
House Bill 162 will be filed for second reading.
February 21st, 2013. Mr. Speaker, will your Committee on Commerce and Human Resources report that we have had under consideration Senate Bill 1031 and recommend that it do pass. Hartgen, Chairman.
Senate Bill 1031 will be filed for second reading.
February 21st, 2013. Mr. Speaker, will your Committee on Resources and Conservation report that we have had under consideration House Bill 131 and House Joint Memorial 1 and recommend that they do pass. Denny, Chairman.
House Bill 131 and House Joint Memorial number 1 will be filed for second reading.
February 21st, 2013. Mr. Speaker, will your Committee on Judiciary, Rules, and Administration report that we have had under consideration House Bills 102, 103, 105, and 125 and recommend that they do pass. Wills, Chairman.
House Bills 102, 103, 105, and House Bill 125 will be filed for second reading. Without objection, the House will now advance to the seventh order of business, motions, memorials, and resolutions. The House is at the seventh order.
In the House of Representatives, House Concurrent Resolution Number 12 by State Affairs Committee, a concurrent resolution stating findings of the legislature and recognizing and congratulating the City of Boise and its residents on the city's sesquicentennial anniversary.
House Concurrent Resolution Number 12 will be referred to Judiciary, Rules, and Administration for printing. The House will now advance to the eighth order of business, first reading, introduction, first reading, and reference of bills and joint resolutions. The House is at the eighth order.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill Number 210 by Appropriations Committee, an act relating to the appropriation to the Department of Health and Welfare for the Division of Medical Assistance Services and Licensing and Certification, amending Section 1, Chapter 247, Laws of 2012 to revise the appropriation for fiscal year 2013 and declaring an emergency. House Bill Number 211 by Health and Welfare Committee, an act relating to physicians and surgeons, amending Section 54-1806 Idaho Code to provide that the Board of Medicine shall have the authority to share information with the Department of Labor to determine workforce shortage areas and to make a technical correction. House Bill Number House Bill Number 212 by Health and Welfare Committee, an act relating to cord blood education, amending Chapter 37, Title 39 Idaho Code by the addition of new Section 393704 to define terms to provide for the education for pregnant women regarding cord blood banking and to provide for the type of information given to pregnant women. House Bill Number 213 by Health and Welfare Committee, an act relating to judgment, amending Chapter 25, Title 19, Idaho Code by the addition of new Section 192520H to provide for the extension of a sentence for certain felony violations against older persons. House Bill Number 214 by Health and Welfare Committee, an act relating to putative fathers, amending Section 71107 Idaho Code to provide a code reference to revise provisions relating to a proceeding to establish paternity of a child, amending Chapter 11, Title 7, Idaho Code by the addition of new Section 71126 Idaho Code to provide that a court shall not consider whether a parent consented to adoption in determining best interests of the child, amending Section 16-1501 to provide that nothing in this chapter shall modify the requirements of the Indian Child Welfare Act, amending Chapter 16-1504 to revise terminology, to revise provisions relating to the rights of putative fathers whose children have been placed with adoptive parents, to revise provisions relating to fathers who do not comply with the procedures for establishing parental rights, to provide that an unmarried biological father must file a proceeding to establish paternity prior to the date of filing of a proceeding to terminate rights of the birth mother, and to make technical corrections, amending Sections 16, 15, 13, to provide that registration of the notice of filing proceeding commences establishment of paternity, to provide code references, to provide pamphlets and public notice regarding the putative father registry, to provide penalty for falsely registering as a putative father, and to make technical corrections, amending Section 16, 2007 Idaho Code, to provide a code reference and to provide fathers who have filed a timely notice for the proceedings, amending Section 16, 2008 Idaho Code, to provide a code reference to provide for fathers who have failed to timely file notice of filing of proceedings, and to make technical corrections. House Bill number 215 by State Affairs Committee, an act relating to ballots, amending Section 34, 217 Idaho Code to revise provisions relating to the retention of certain election supplies, amending Section 34, 901, 908, 9010 to remove reference to certain stamp and ink pad, to establish provision relating to official election ballot identification, and to make technical corrections, amending Section 34, 1103 to remove reference to certain stamp and to make technical corrections, and amending Section 34, 1106 to remove provisions relating to a certain stamp and to establish a provision relating to official election ballot identification. House Bill number 216 by State Affairs Committee, an act relating to standards for guide towers, amending Section 21-515A Idaho Code to provide an exception for facilities used by Federal Power Marketing Agency to serve public utilities or consumer-owned utilities. House Bill number 217 by State Affairs Committee, an act relating to motor vehicles, amending Section 49-1212 Idaho Code to revise provisions relating to the negligent operation of a loaned vehicle, and to make technical corrections.
House Bill 210, 211, 212, 213, 214, 215, 216, and 217 will be referred to Judiciary Rules and Administration for printing.
In the Senate, Senate Bill number 1042 by Commerce and Human Resources Committee, an act relating to the Health Insurance Exchange, amending Title 41 Idaho Code by the addition of a new Chapter 61, Title 41, to provide a short title to state legislative purpose and intent, to define terms, to establish the exchange and the board, to provide for powers and authority of the exchange, to provide for reporting, to authorize reliance by the exchange on other agencies, to provide that the exchange shall not preempt the duties of the Department of Insurance, and to provide severability and declaring an emergency.
Senate Bill 1042 will be referred to Health and Welfare. Without objection, the House will now advance to the 10th order of business, second reading of bills and joint resolutions. The House is at the 10th order.
In the House of Representatives, House Bill 121 by State Affairs Committee regarding Credit Rating Enhancement Committee. House Bill 159 by State Affairs Committee regarding retail sale of liquor. House Bill 185 by Environment, Energy, and Technology Committee regarding drinking water and wastewater professionals. House Bill 175 by State Affairs Committee regarding livestock liens. House Bill 117 by Transportation and Defense Committee regarding aeronautics. House Bill 118 by Transportation and Defense Committee regarding aircraft registration. House Bill 168 by Transportation and Defense Committee regarding motor carrier contracts. Senate Bill 1044 by Transportation Committee regarding motorcycles. House Bill 184 by Revenue and Taxation Committee regarding income tax. House Bill 187 by Revenue and Taxation Committee regarding use tax.
House Bills 121, 159, 185, 113, 175, 117, 118, 168, Senate Bill 1044, House Bill 184, and 187 will all be filed for the third reading. The House will now advance to the 11th order of business, third reading of bills and joint resolutions. The House is at the 11th order. The House will now have under consideration House Bill 161. The gentleman from District 17.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would ask to dispense with the reading of House Bill 161.
You've all heard the unanimous consent request. Is there an objection? Hearing none, the gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would describe this as a housekeeping bill, but I know 6 weeks into the session, we're all starting to realize that there's really no such thing, and if somebody says housekeeping, it means maybe we all better read it. So I will say it is merely a housekeeping bill. The primary change that this is brought by the Secretary of State, and the primary change that is being brought in this bill is that the city library district elections will be held in the same way that all library district elections are held, and this, I think, makes the whole election process more safer and secure. There are some deadlines that are changed in order to accommodate issues that have arisen, such as at the county, and so there are some changes in the number of days in which language for a ballot question needs to be submitted. There are also some clarifications that 75 days is needed to gather signatures for a recall before submitting them to the district. 75 days is fairly clearly already stated, and there's one or two sentences that weren't artfully drafted, which they have changed. Also, the waiting period for a failed local option tax election has been, in a resort committee, has been changed from 1 year to 11 months. This is because of the 2006 election date was, general election date was November 6th, and the 2007 general city election date will be November 5th. So as a result, if you had the 1 year, then you wouldn't be able to conduct another election. There are a couple of other, one kind of neat change, I think, is that instead of absentee ballot having, an emergency absentee ballot having to be requested on the day of the election, there will be 96 hours, a 96-hour period before the election when that emergency ballot can be requested. The State Affairs Committee passed this unanimously, including the representative from District 15 who voted for it. And so I would ask for your I would ask for your green light. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
High marks for the preemptive strike. Is there further debate? Hearing none, the debate is closed. The question is, shall House Bill 161 pass the House? The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will cast their votes.
He's an attorney.
Have all the members voted? Does any member wish to change his vote? The clerk will lock the machine and record the roll. The roll call shows 63 aye, 1 nay, 6 absent and excused. House Bill 161 has passed the House. Is there correction to title? Hearing none, House Bill 161 will be transmitted to the Senate.
Mr. Speaker.
Good gentleman from District 14.
Mr. Speaker, I would ask unanimous consent that House Bill 167 be placed at the bottom of the third reading calendar.
You've all heard the unanimous consent request. Is there an objection? Hearing none, House Bill 167 will be placed at the bottom of the third reading calendar. Good gentleman from District 23.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know, I must have hit the wrong button, but I did not mean to vote no on that issue, and I request that the body allow me to change that vote. I looked at the board and saw that red thing there, and it surprised me.
The gentleman is asking for your approval to have him be able to change his vote. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the vote count will be corrected.
Thank you.
Thank you. The House will now have for consideration House Bill 169. The gentleman from District 10.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to dispense with further reading of House Bill 169.
You've all heard the request. Is there an objection? Hearing none, the good gentleman has the floor.
Ladies and gentlemen of this body, the reason this House bill is before you today is simply that we had, in committee, we had identified a specific portion of the statute that would need to change, just some language portions regarding to specialty license plate processes. What we found was that the way that the rules were written, and the next item up on the agenda will clarify this more, was basically unconstitutional in the fact that it was a separation of powers issue. The Department of Transportation had written a rule in conjunction with the previous statute that did not allow for someone to attempt to bring legislation without having pre-approval from that department. So what this bill does is it alleviates that concern by stating that any new license plate program that is approved by the legislature, the program sponsor shall, before issuance of any special license plate, meet the pre-qualification processes outlined in this section. So in other words, they still have to comply with the Transportation Department's request, but that we as legislators or constituents can bring any legislation and pass at any time within the process, but that they still have to do it when they are done. And that is the purpose of House Bill 169. It passed out of committee with a unanimous vote to move forward, and I ask for your green light today.
Is there further debate? Hearing none, the debate is closed. The question is, shall House Bill 169 pass the House? The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will cast their votes. Have all the members voted? Does any member wish to change his vote? The clerk will lock the machine and record the roll. The roll call shows 64 ayes, 0 nays, 6 absent and excused. House Bill 169 has passed the House. As a correction to title, hearing none, House Bill 169 will be transmitted to the Senate. The House will now have under consideration House Concurrent Resolution Number 7. Good gentleman from District 10.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to dispense with further reading of House Concurrent Resolution Number 7.
You've all heard the request. Is there an objection? Hearing none, the gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the good body, this is the rule that we had identified in committee that we had rejected, as well as the Senate had rejected. Therefore, we put forth House Concurrent Resolution Number 7 to state that docket number 39-0260-1201 be rejected in its entirety. And this is a concurrent resolution put forth today before you. I ask for your green light. Thank you.
Is there further debate? Hearing none, the debate is closed. The question is, shall House Concurrent Resolution Number 7 pass the House? The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will cast their votes. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change his vote?
Ringo hasn't voted.
Representative Ringo votes aye.
Okay. That's good.
The clerk will lock the machine and record the roll. Roll call shows 63 ayes, 0 nays, 7 absent and excused. House Concurrent Resolution Number 7 has passed the House. Is there a correction to title? Hearing none, House Concurrent Resolution Number 7 will be transmitted to the Senate. The House will now have under consideration House Bill Number 96. Good gentleman from District 19.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that we dispense with the reading of House Bill 96.
You all heard the request. Is there an objection? Hearing none, the gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, members of the body, this is really a modernization bill that's been brought to us by the Board of Veterinary Medicine. House Bill 96 addresses needed housekeeping changes to address the definition of a certified veterinary technician and a certified euthanasia technician. A CVT is a person who's successfully graduated from a veterinary technology program accredited by the American Veterinary Medical Association. The AVMA body who handles the accreditation process used to be called the Council on Education of the AVMA, But the updated citation will change the writing inside of the statute to Committee on Veterinary Technician and Education and Activities. The second piece that's really a modernization is the board needs to remove some outdated language from December 31st, 1992 that said that if you were trained prior to 1992, you could become a certified euthanasia technician. The problem is a lot has changed in the last 20 years. And so the medications that they use and different things to make sure that they provide a humane euthanasia process to animals needs to be updated. So they want to strike this language in order to modernize certification processes. This is passed out of our committee with unanimous consent. It's a fairly straightforward bill, and I ask for your green light on this.
Is there further debate? Hearing none, the debate is closed. The question is, why didn't I turn my microphone on? The question is, shall House Bill 96 pass the House? The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will cast their votes. Have all the members voted?
Barrett?
Barrett?
Rushi?
Representative Barrett, how do you vote? Does any member wish to change his vote? The clerk will lock the machine and record the roll. The roll call shows 63 aye, 1 nay, 6 absent and excused. House Bill 96 has passed the House. Is there correction to title? Hearing none, House Bill 96 will be transmitted to the Senate. The House will now have under consideration House Bill 97. Good lady from District 5.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that further reading of House Bill 97 be dispensed with.
You've all heard the unanimous consent request. Is there an objection? Hearing none, the good lady has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, honored members of the body, this bill is an amendment to Exist Idaho Code Section 54-2107 relating to veterinary licensing fees. Currently, anyone requesting a license to practice veterinary medicine in the state of Idaho must submit application and supporting documentation to the Board of Veterinary Medicine. Along with that packet, a fee of $275 is charged to the applicant for processing. As soon as that packet is received, the processing begins, which involves verification of the packet of information that has been submitted. Each applicant takes on average approximately 10 hours of staff time. Consequently, the fee has been expended upon employee wages, long-distance phone calling, mail, etc. For this reason, the Board of Veterinary Medicine comes before the body to request that these fees become non-refundable upon receipt. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further debate? The gentleman from District 15.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To debate against the bill.
The gentleman has the floor.
This little bill really bothers me. If you look at the composition of the fees that are being charged, there are two components, and that's on line 22, subsection 8. The license application fee and first year's license fee in the amount established by rules. And so there's two separate fees included in that amount, the processing or application fee and then the first year of your licensing fee. And what we're doing is we're making that refundable or non-refundable, and I have a real problem with that because if the application fee is not enough to cover the cost of the application, then that should be raised. We shouldn't be keeping a fee that is designated as the first year of the license fee, which basically indicates that you're paying that fee to practice. For example, if somebody paid a fee to apply to college and at the same time the college said, well, we want our first semester's fee, and you don't happen to get in, whoa, you don't get your tuition back. It's the same thing here. And I think this impairs the integrity of our system. I'm not saying anything about the sponsors, but I'm talking about our governmental system. When we're calling something a fee for practice, for licensing, and then we say that's non-refundable. I have a real problem with this bill, so I'm going to vote no.
Is there further debate? Hearing none, would a good lady from District 5 care to close debate?
Mr. Speaker, this bill will have a minimal effect on the board's dedicated fund and no impact on the general fund. In 2011, a $250 refund was given. In 2012, a $50 refund was given. And in 2013, to date, $350 has been given in refunds. Mr. Speaker, I ask for approval of this request and hope the body will give us a green light on this. Thank you.
The debate is closed. The question is, shall House Bill 97 pass the House? The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will cast their votes. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? The clerk will lock the machine and record the roll. The roll call shows 34 aye, 30 nay, 6 absent and excused. House Bill 97 has passed the House. Is there correction to title? Hearing none, House Bill 97 will be transmitted to the Senate. The House will now have under consideration House Bill 12 as amended in the Senate. Good gentleman from District 21.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that House Bill 12 as amended by the Senate further reading be dispensed with.
You've all heard the unanimous consent request. Is there an objection? Hearing none, the good gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, this bill, House Bill 12, was passed by the House in January. There were 2 provisions. One of the provisions was amended by the Senate. That provision was amended to clarify or make more clearly define the timelines for the sales tax exemption. I think it's a good amendment, and I ask a green light on the vote.
Is there further debate? Hearing none, the debate is closed. The question is, shall House Bill number 12, as amended in the Senate, pass the House? The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will cast their votes. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change his vote? The clerk will lock the machine and record the roll. The roll call shows 63 aye, 0 nay, 7 absent and excused. House Bill 12 as amended in the Senate has passed the House. Is there correction to title? Hearing none, House Bill number 12 as amended in the Senate will be transmitted to the Senate. The House will now have under consideration House Bill 177. Good gentleman from District 15.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would request unanimous consent to dispense with the reading of House Bill 177.
You've all heard the request. Is there an objection? Hearing none, the gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill, House Bill 177, is an update to our Idaho College Savings Program that references Section 529 under the IRS Code. Basically, it's a program that allows you to put money away, kind of like an IRA, that is dedicated for educational expenses, and so you get to defer your taxes, and also you get a state tax benefit as well. When this was first implemented, in 1996, our state adopted it in 1999, and the program was set up where it's governed by the board, which is our constitutional officers, and they, or a delegee of them, so most of the constitutional officers have delegated someone to sit on this board, but it's been basically take the money in and refer it out to a managing company, and that has become a bit restrictive and costly, looking at what other states can do. So the program basically is a program manager is hired, and that charges, they charge, I think it's 47 basis points, which is 40.47% fee. The total program is 75 basis points, because then the fund itself charges a management fee. Right now, I think it's Vanguard. And then there's a very small 5 basis points that is retained by the state to manage the program. What we're finding is that other states are being able to do this at a much lower cost because they've taken it either in-house or they have more flexibility to negotiate. Right now, we're pretty much stuck with this program, and so what this bill does is it gives the board greater flexibility to bring parts of this in-house or to potentially partner with other states and use this as a cost-saving tool for the people that invest in the program. So for example, currently New York is able to manage their fund for 17 basis points. Utah does theirs from 18 to 26 basis points. And so that's the whole point of this bill, is to allow more flexibility to the board to save costs in the program. Be happy to answer any questions.
Good gentleman from District 6.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the good gentleman yield?
Will the gentleman from 15 yield to a question?
Yes, gentleman yields.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And good gentleman, on page 3, line 10 through 12, it talks about being exempt from purchasing requirements. Could you explain the reason for that, please?
Gentleman from 15.
Good gentleman, gentleman from, or Mr. Speaker, gentleman from 6. They aren't really purchasing any items. This is a financial program, and you'll see in the context of the bill that the various offices of the constitutional officers will actually provide services as needed if they don't contract it out, and they would get reimbursed for those services. So those would flow through those other agencies.
Is there further debate?
Mr. Speaker, another question, if I might.
Will the gentleman yield?
Gentleman yields.
Gentleman yields.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good gentleman. Some of the purchasing requirements require competitive bids, such as for fund families and would this then exempt them from having to get multiple bids and be directed by the board itself?
Gentleman from 15.
Mr. Speaker, good gentleman, yes, because this is a program where they have a fiduciary responsibility to do what's best in the management of this program for the investors. And so right now we're actually confined to a particular fund. So they would go out shopping, if you will, either independently or through a manager. But this gives them the flexibility to even get bids on the manager. Right now we're kind of stuck in one single gear, if you will. So there's an exemption because it's a financial issue as opposed to procuring desks and chairs and specific contracts to do things. Again, this is from the Treasurer's Office, and they manage all of our money.
Mr. Speaker, debate the bill, if I might.
The gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know that most of the elected officials are exempt from the purchasing requirements and sometimes from the competitive bid requirements. However, if this is a significant amount of money and there is not competitive bidding among the various fund families, I think that this is could be a significant problem. and would suggest that while the elected officials' offices might duly be exempt, I don't know that the boards that they sit on necessarily need to be exempt from open competitive bidding, and so I'll be voting no. Thank you.
Is there further debate? The gentleman from District 31.
Mr. Speaker, will the gentleman from 15 yield?
The gentleman from 15 yield to a question.
Gentleman yields.
The good gentleman yields.
Thank you, good gentleman. I wondered if this applied to Coverdell savings plans as well, or if that was a separate entity not covered by this change.
Gentleman from 15.
Good Speaker and good gentleman. This applies only to 529 programs, so if it's within the 529 investment program, it would. If it isn't, then it wouldn't.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, good
Is there
gentleman.
further debate? The gentleman from 15 care to close the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a good bill. It gives our treasurer and the board that manages this fund flexibility. They do have a fiduciary duty, just as our treasurer does today. They'll do their best to, and the whole purpose of this is to reduce costs to the investors that participate in this program. Thank you.
Debate is closed. The question is, shall House Bill 177 pass the House? The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will cast their votes. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change his vote? The clerk will lock the machine and the members will record the roll. The roll call shows 52 aye, 10 nay, 8 absent and excused. House Bill 177 has passed the House. Is there a correction to title? Hearing none, House Bill 177 will be transmitted to the Senate. The House will now have under consideration Senate Bill 1028. Good lady from District 30.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask for unanimous consent to dispense with further reading of Senate Bill 1028.
You've all heard the request. Is there an objection? Hearing none, the good lady has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good members of the House. Senate Bill 1028 removes the sunset provisions from the Mastery Advanced Pilot Program, or MAP, and allows this program to be expanded statewide. However, this is one of the few programs where you can say that the more it grows, the less it costs. MAP provides a scholarship to high school students that choose to graduate early. The way it works is by taking an average of the average daily attendance, or ADA, funding that the state would have spent on that student's senior year, and dividing it 3 ways: 35% to the student as a scholarship at an Idaho public university or college, 35% back to the school district, and 30% remains with the state. Thus far, students in the Boise, Blackfoot, and Orofino school districts have taken advantage of this and are now attending 5 universities and colleges in Idaho. Under the pilot program, only a limited number of districts were allowed to participate. There are administrative expenses involved in establishing the program in the school district, and some school districts perceived the program as temporary, therefore they chose not to participate. This bill changes that status by removing the pilot language and opening up to any district that chooses to make this program available to its students. We recognize that early graduation is not for all students, but for those who choose to do that, this option sends them to an Idaho institution with scholarship funding and saves the state money. We're aware of no opposition. The bill passed unanimously out of House Education Committee, and I ask for your support here as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there further debate? Hearing none, the debate is closed. The question is, shall Senate Bill 1028 pass the House? The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will cast their votes. Have all the members voted? Does any member wish to change his vote?
Boyle.
Representative Moyle.
And Anderst?
How does the good gentleman from District 15 vote?
Oh, Sims? Okay.
Has every member voted?
Sims votes aye. Okay.
Does any member wish to change his vote? Clerk will lock the machine, record the roll. Roll call shows 61 aye, 1 nay, 8 absent, excused. Senate Bill 1028 has passed the House. Is there a correction to title? Hearing none, Senate Bill 1028 will be transmitted to the Senate. The House will now have under consideration House Bill 153. Good gentleman from District 17.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill will be presented by myself and co-sponsor Representative Sims. Jury pay has not been raised for 45 years. Since 1968, jury pay has been $10 a day and $5 for a half day. Jury service is mandatory and required, and we should compensate jury service with something for their service and the hardship of being away from their work. In committee, an individual named Kevin Ware provided written testimony regarding his service in Ada County. He served 3 days on a 3-day jury trial and recounted how he lost about $450 in service. We should at least be compensating our jurors at close to the minimum wage. Very importantly, House Bill 153 does not mandate that a county must pay more. It allows a county to do so. It allows $50 a day and $25 for a half a day, so that the counties can be flexible in their application of this law. Since 1968, the raises for various public jobs in the counties have been almost tenfold. And so I ask that you give a green light to this bill, and I would like to turn it over to Representative Sims, who has some comments.
Will the lady from District 4 yield?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
The lady has the floor.
Thank you.
No, thanks to Representative Gannon from District 17. He explained it quite well, and I'm happy that we dealt with it both half-day and whole days. It came out of the committee 100% do pass, and it's a good bill, and I urge a green light. Thank you.
Is there further debate? Good gentleman from District 24.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the good lady yield to a question?
The lady yield.
The lady will yield.
Lady yield.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Do we have any estimates, county by county, as to what the cost would be if the county were moved to the $50 per juror rate?
Lady from 4.
Mr. Speaker and gentlemen, we don't have estimates from the county, but in speaking to the counties that were here visiting us, we had no objection. Several counties are already paying in addition to what's in the rule.
Follow-up.
Gentleman from.
Thank you,
Will
Mr.
the good lady yield?
The lady will yield.
Lady yields.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good lady, if a county A moves to the $50 rate and its neighbor stays at a lesser rate, does that not create an opening for a legal challenge to any conviction created by a jury as a challenge based on the inequity of the pool that would be attracted to serve on the jury? Aren't we basically going to wind up with some additional costs here and appeals of cases where the jury is composed differently based on the cost of serving?
Lady from 4.
Mr. Speaker and gentlemen, I'm sure if it's a drastic difference, something like that could occur, but I can tell you, and the President, it has not occurred, and many counties pay different rates today.
Is there further debate?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Good gentleman from District 28.
To debate the bill, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker and ladies and gentlemen, I think it's maybe good to compensate jurors, but we have counties who coming here and complaining about their restricted budgets they don't have enough money. And I think jury service is a civic duty, and we shouldn't be trying to compensate jurors for serving with the fair market value of service. So I'm going to vote no. Thank you.
Is there further debate? Hearing none, would one of the bill sponsors care to close debate? Gentleman from 17.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would just emphasize that it is flexible and it is a local control bill. It's a local decision bill, and that in addition, the courts the Supreme Court has been notified of this bill and has provided us with a letter in which they support it too. So I would ask for your green light.
The debate is closed. The question is, shall House Bill 153 pass the House? The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will cast their votes. Have all the members voted? Does any member wish to change his vote? The clerk will lock the machine and record the roll. The roll call shows 60 aye, 2 nay, 8 absent and excused. House Bill 153 has passed the House. Is there a correction to title? Hearing none, House Bill 153 will be transmitted to the Senate. The gentleman from District 14.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the remaining bills on the third reading calendar hold their place until Monday.
You've all heard the unanimous consent request. Is there an objection? Hearing none, the remaining bills on the third reading calendar will hold their place until Monday. The House will now advance to the 15th order of business. Announcements. Are there announcements? Clerk may read.
Following are the Standing Committee meeting announcements for this afternoon. Agricultural Affairs Committee will not meet. Andrus, Chairman. Environment, Energy, and Technology Committee will not meet this afternoon. Raybold, Chairman. Local Government Committee will not meet this afternoon. Barrett, Chairman. And Transportation and Defense Committee will not meet this afternoon. Palmer, Chairman. For Monday morning, Education Committee will meet Monday, February 25th at 9 a.m., East Wing, Room 41. DeMordaunt, Chairman. Health and Welfare Committee will not meet Monday morning. Wood, Chairman. Revenue and Taxation Committee will not meet Monday morning. Collins, Chairman. And State Affairs Committee will meet Monday morning at 9 a.m., East Wing, Room 40. Lurcher, Chairman.
The House will now advance to the 16th order of business. Adjournment. The House is at the 16th order. Gentleman from 14.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn until the hour of 11 a.m. Monday, February 25th, 2013.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
You've all heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries, and the House will stand adjourned until the hour of 11 a.m. Monday, February 25th, 2013.